Hi there, it's Edie K, and this is actually graduation week. My oldest son, Tony, who is 18, is graduating from high school this week, which is stirs up all kinds of emotions for me. It's super cool, super exciting for him, but obviously I'm having some small heart attacks here and there trying to get used to the idea that my baby is graduating. As busy as this week has been, I wanted to make sure that I got a video out to you guys because the topic that I want to talk about today has actually come up quite a bit, not just with me personally, but with several of my friends, some of my family members, and it seems to be a theme. So it's making me think I really need to share this with people. And what I'm talking about today is setting boundaries with people. Now, for me, when I had first heard the concept of setting boundaries, it seemed really selfish because I had been raised to kind of put myself last all the time and to make sure I was being sweet to everybody else and to make sure I was watching out for everybody's feelings and not being rude and making sure that other person was happy and that my happiness was going to come second. And that was some programming that I had initially, and I'm sure there's many of you that have that same type of programming, because in my mind it was one or the other. It was either care about other people or care about myself. There was this real strong sense that I couldn't care about myself and still be a nice, sweet person for other people. So this was huge for me, and it's something that has taken me years to learn, and I still haven't mastered it. It's something that I work on all the time, and it's this idea of setting boundaries. So here's the thing, setting boundaries with people and letting them know what you will and won't tolerate, and letting them know how you will and won't be treated. It doesn't mean you hate them. It means you love and respect yourself. And so that becomes huge in terms of owning and taking responsibility for some of the things that might be coming up in your relationship. Because for me, in my early relationships, when there was a problem and there was a fight or a disagreement, or when I felt wronged or harmed, my focus always went to that person. My focus always went to, how could he be so mean? How could he do this to me? What kind of a person acts that way? What kind of a person can be so selfish? What kind of a person could treat me that way? And my focus always went on them, and I would sit there and dwell in it and get nowhere. And if you're feeling the same way in your relationship, I can tell you why. We have no control there. We have no control over what other people do, over what other people say, and over how other people behave. We don't have any control over that. What we can control, what we have absolute control over, is how we respond to what people do, say, behave towards us. We have control over that. So that is where our focus needs to be. And in the middle of this discomfort and this struggle and this frustration and this fight, maybe even with our significant other, taking the attention off what they did to us and put it on, what am I going to do? Spend all of your energy there. What am I going to do? How am I going to communicate my boundaries to that person? How am I going to show that person what my boundaries are? To be able to say, I'm not going to be treated this way. I'm more valuable than that. So this is the way I allow people to treat me, and this is the way I won't. And if you are not going to treat me the way that I deserve to be treated, then we won't be together. If you're going to scream at me and use really bad names when we're in a fight, I'm going to go away from the fight, and I will come back and engage in the discussion with you again when there's no screaming or name calling. Now those might not be your boundaries. We're all raised differently with different comfort levels, and some people, the screaming and the yelling when they're fighting is quite normal, and they grew up around that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment. Only you know what your personal boundaries are on an emotional level, physical level, a relational level. You know what your boundaries are. And so I challenge you to think about that this week. I challenge you to focus this week on what are your personal boundaries, and then communicate those things with your partner and let them know. And then if you really want to see something cool happen in your relationship, ask them the same thing. Maybe you'll be surprised that your partner has continued to get upset over things, over boundaries that you've crossed, and you didn't even know they had those boundaries because they weren't being communicated. So again, I hope that you got something out of this video today. I know that if I had learned this years ago, it would have helped me so much. So I'm hoping that just sharing this with you is going to help you today. And if it did and you liked the video, then again, please share it however that looks for you. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, email it to your friends so that they can get the benefit from it as well. I'm Edie K. I hope you have an awesome week. I know I am. Looking forward to this graduation weekend, time with friends and family and change and moving on and progress, and it's all super exciting. Have an awesome week. I look forward to talking to you next time.